Let's be real, we're living through a revolution. But it's not happening on some distant battlefield. It's a revolution of code and data, and it's happening right now, completely reshaping our world, especially how we work.
So let's kick things off with a number that's pretty mind-blowing. According to the 2025 AI Index report, a whopping 78% of organizations were already using AI in 2024. Now, that's a big number on its own, right? But get this, that's up from just 55% the year before. This isn't a gradual shift, it's an absolute explosion.
And when you see numbers like that, you have to ask, what does this AI boom actually mean for us? For our jobs, for the money we bring home, and really, for what our future is even going to look like. All right, so let's dive right into that. First up, let's talk about productivity and paychecks, and this thing that people are starting to call the AI premium.
Okay, check this out. This chart from PwC's 2024 AI Jobs Barometer tells a really clear story. On the right, you've got the industries that are heavily exposed to AI, and their labor productivity is growing by an amazing 4.3%. Now compare that to the industries on the left. The ones with less AI, they're only growing at 0.9%. That's nearly 5 times more productive. This isn't some guess about the future. It's happening as we speak.
And you know what that kind of productivity boost leads to? Yep, bigger paychecks. For some anyway. That same PwC report found that jobs that need specialist AI skills can come with up to a 25% wage premium. That's a huge incentive for people to really learn this stuff.
But here's where it gets a little more complicated. It's not as simple as just doing the same old jobs, but faster. No, AI is actually rewriting the rulebook. The skills that companies are looking for are changing so fast, it'll make your head spin. And that brings us to this really crucial idea we need to wrap our heads around, the difference between AI that automates and AI that augments.
This simple comparison here, which comes from a really important study from Archive, is pretty much the whole story. On one side, you have automation AI. Its job is to replace human tasks. Think of a robot arm on a factory line. On the other side, you have augmentation AI. Its job is to make a human better at what they do. Think of a doctor using AI to spot things in a scan they might have missed. One replaces, the other enhances. Understanding this difference is absolutely key to figuring out who's going to thrive and who's going to struggle. Because as we're about to see, this whole transformation is not lifting all boats equally. Not by a long shot. In fact, it's creating what you could call the Great Divide. And this table just lays it all out, crystal clear. For low-skilled workers, just look at the impact of automation AI. It's a negative hit on new work, on employment, and on wages. A triple whammy, but for high-skilled workers, it doesn't really have a big effect. Now let's look at augmentation AI. For low-skilled workers, again, not much changes. But for the high-skilled workers, it's a totally different world. It's creating new kinds of work, and it's actually boosting their pay. The message is pretty stark. The kind of AI you're dealing with and the skills you have will create completely different futures.
And the researchers behind the study, they don't pull any punches. This is a direct quote. Overall, these findings suggest that AI development may exacerbate wage inequality. So yeah, they're basically saying that this widening gap between the rich and poor isn't just some accident. It might be a core feature of the AI revolution.
So if AI is making us more productive overall, but it's also making the gap between the rich and poor even wider, that leads to a huge question. What do we do now? This isn't just about economics. It's about the very fabric of our society. And the scale of this is just massive. A recent study estimated that generative AI could impact around 20 million workers in Europe alone. When you're talking about numbers that huge, our usual safety nets might not be enough. We might need to invent totally new ways to keep things stable.
And that's why some really big, bold ideas are back on the table. One of the biggest is Universal Basic Income, or UBI. The idea is simple. The government gives every single citizen a regular check, no strings attached. It's an old idea, but AI has suddenly made it feel very, very relevant again.
Now, of course, the debate around UBI is intense. The people who support it say it could wipe out poverty and keep the economy going even if lots of jobs disappear. But the critics have some really serious concerns. Would it push wages down? Would people even want to work anymore? And the billion-dollar question, how on earth could we afford it? The point here isn't that UBI is the magic answer, but that AI is forcing us to have these huge, fundamental conversations about what we want our future to look like.
And that really brings us back to the core question of this whole thing. Is AI a tool that's going to augment our potential and lift everybody up? Or is it a force that's going to automate millions of people into a new, deeper kind of inequality? The thing is, the answer isn't being written in Silicon Valley. It's going to be written by us, by the choices we make and the policies we decide on as we figure out how to share the incredible wealth of this new machine age.